show. And as always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akashat Zibiri.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I hope you're not as tired as I am.
I'm exhausted.
So I must say thank you to everyone who showed Imran love for his birthday on Saturday. Some people requested to call, and I particularly just begged, just send him a video because I know he doesn't stay long on the phone, and the videos worked. Each time he was watching, it would seem like, oh, thank you for celebrating me. Yeah. And it mattered to him. It was really nice. Thank you, Dr. Lighton. Thank you, Dr. TG. Thank you, all of you. You know yourselves. Dr. Lighton was the one who admitted me on the emergency, who saw the first emergency, and he saw the videos of my status. I was like, me, I never sent video. And he told a story about Imran. Thank you for the love. Yaolu and everybody. It was really awesome for him. He was just excited till yesterday.
See, Imran is such a special child because yesterday we were all together. And the kids all went together to play with the chairs, and he was exploring all the various, you know, those things where you, have to climb and go underneath. He was going through every single thing. So I was there looking for the other kids. He was there actually taking his time to do every single thing by himself. I thought that was so special.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
How are you doing, Obiajilu?
I'm doing great.
You rested from yesterday?
How now? We all met yesterday, so thank you, Miriam, for inviting us. We had fun at the conservation.
Miriam was such a good host.
Yes,
she got us small chops. I was like, oh, I always feel guilty. Like,
I couldn't even eat.
I did not pay for this. Why am I just eating anyhow? But Miriam just
come
came.
on.
I don't like to. I like to always participate. You know, yes, I just felt really honored.
But you bought us some coconut drinks. Remember? Yeah,
those they drank palm wine.
I didn't see that. Who is they? Who took that palm wine?
Who is this? Points like this.
They promised me and I didn't get it.
Oh, you were not there?
No, but I got palm wine.
I didn't get it. I was waiting for it now till I left.
It was you guys. I bought for you guys. I bought for you guys. You guys were enjoying it.
So it was good. We had fun. Thank you so much for the invite. The kids had fun. And while I was, trying to celebrate my Oga for taking the lead at the canopy walk and showing bravery and, trying to hype him and everything, just say, Madam, next time, don't ever. I said, brother, I don't understand. You were sure. I had to be strong for you people. I had to be strong for my daughter.
I was leaning on him. Because he was in front of me. Yes. Then his daughter, then his son, his daughter, and then me. Yeah. I was like, God, Mr. Ochi, you're a good leader. I am trusting you that we'll get our destination.
When we got to be
wait. So people were just faking all this. Oh, it was so good.
No, not for me.
Because I was scared.
So
this was at the Lekki Conservation Center. We spent the afternoon there yesterday. And there's a canopy walk.
The whole day?
Yeah, the whole day. So there's a canopy walk. It's a rope bridge that goes high above the trees.
Bagang.
Very scary. I didn't enjoy it at all.
I had fun. I loved it.
I was praying. I was just taking one step in front of the other. I was looking. My stepdaughters were in front, and they were taking calls and
for real?
Looking at the scenery. I said, girls, is this sightseeing? Will you get moving? Who told you we're here to look? Let's get to safety.
Your heart was practically your mind.
But thank you all so much for coming, Kogi really wanted to celebrate his day. He too was not so keen about this nature and plants thing, but he enjoyed it so much. All the kids were there. They had so much fun, and thank you for showing up.
Thank you. This morning, my little baby was like, Mommy, I don't want to go to school. I want to sleep. Because he played yesterday. He was tired. In the car, they just slept off. Just carried everybody to the bathroom, quickly bath and enter the bathroom. They slept off.
I still had Inyo when I got home last night.
You did it?
I still Eto.
Some people have bad habits.
I needed just to get out. Yeah. Because recently it's been very, very, tense around me. So I needed that getaway, and it was so helpful. Thank you, Mary.
Clean air.
It was so helpful. I needed that. I really needed it.
So thank you, Santana Security.
God bless you. The security guard at the conservation were very, very nice to us. And they're from Santana Security Chevron location. And they specifically Mr. Jimmy Itang and Mr. Daniel Usanga. They both cared for us, and they said, "Oh, please, we love your show." And because listen, you guys did a good job. Thank you so much for being a host, a fantastic host. Thank you very much.
Thank you, to me, the cash office. Thank you to all the guys, the tour guides that took us, especially Blessing. Thank you so much for taking care of us.
Blessing, she said.
Blessing.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on a quick break now. When we return, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to the nation. Private business groups on VAT status, we are confused. Population census likely next year. After Babalola to the federal government, Nigeria needs special agriculture bank. Arara Ome, head NNPC Limited, says board. Vaccination by public servants now mandatory in Osun. 400 PhD holders teaching in Oyo secondary schools. Ex-CBN chief Milafia taken to 3 hospitals in 2 days. Okay, let's start with the major headline. Yes.
So the manufacturers and service providers under the organized private sector of Nigeria have started to worry about, who to pay the VAT to, since this wahala between the federal government and the state governors or state governments who have passed the VAT bill into law in their states. These organizations comprises of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry and Mines and Agriculture, that's NASIMA, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, and the Association of Small-Scale Industries and Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. They are worried about it, and they are already considering taking the matter to court for final settlement of the matter.
Yeah, so Dr. Obadiah Milafia, he was one-time Deputy Governor of CBN, and the management of the Middle Belt Forum has announced his passing. And the story surrounding his passing is that he came home on the 18th, and his wife thought he looked ill. He was taken to hospital. In the end, it was just the normal story we hear Nigerians talk about. He was moved from one hospital to the other. He wasn't attended to on time until they had to call, people at the top to get him to be attended to. Finally, taken from the first hospitals, after a while said, well, we cannot take care of him. You need to move him to another hospital. He was taken to Gwagwalada Hospital in Abuja, where he finally passed. They said that when he stopped breathing, they had asked, they had brought in foreign consultants who advised, oh, you need to put the pressure on him so that, to try and resuscitate him. Well, the doctors on ground were like, please don't tell us anything. We're not here to listen to foreign counterparts. Many of the, all that, the breakdown of just how it runs.
Sounds like a Nigerian story.
Yes, and finally,
it still sounds funny.
It seemed like, proper attention, proper care was not given to him. And we also know on the backdrop of all the strike that's on now. So obviously, they may have been short-handed as well in this hospital.
There was even something that
I expect that his family should have a hospital. He should have a medical history with a particular hospital of his status.
So there's the clinic, the CBN clinic that he was at first, where he was now moved to. I think he went to 3 hospitals in the end, from the clinic to one other hospital. That hospital now got him to Gwagwalada, and that's how he passed.
And then by the time he got there, I think the doctor in charge in the hospital refused to take any advice from the foreign doctor who was trying to call. And even after according to the wife, said she even felt his pulse when they had pronounced him dead. And they did not listen to the foreign. It's just painful.
Okay, so
census.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we had a census 15 years ago, but thankfully, Nigeria is going to be having another one next year. They said it's going to happen in May, and the president has given the National Population Commission the nod to conduct the census. They also said they were going to be spending about 20 billion for that census. The money, leave the money part. For that census, that's going to be, they're going to put that amount of money in next year's budget. So one of the reasons they want to do this is because the administration is tired of using estimated figures to plan. We don't really have our figures. And by the time they did the one they did over 10 years ago, they said it was 93 million. And they've been relying so far on multinationals to give us our figures, our data of the number that we have. So luckily we'll get it.
So the legal icon and founder of the Afe Babalola University, Are Afe Babalola, was saying yesterday that the federal government must begin to have an agricultural bank for young people. He was saying this at the grand finale of this year's annual Afe Babalola Agricultural Expo in Ekiti. He was saying he's supposed to be the largest farmer in Ekiti and the highest taxpayer in the state. Gave out 13.2 million to outstanding farmers in Ekiti. I think we had 5 of them. The winner was Mr. Aribasho Emmanuel from Ado local government. So he gave out, I think, 150,000 like that. I think 250,000 was the highest, all the way down to farmers who did exceptional. And it was just encouraging that we must all try to become farmers to help in building the economy of Nigeria. Okay, let's move on now to The Punch. VAT by states a joke. Masari under fire, Akeredolu says FIRS planned amendment dead on arrival. Assembly Speaker fumes as gunmen storm Kogi church service, killed guard, kidnap ex-provost, pastor and worshipper. Middle Belt Forum carpets Abuja hospitals over Milafia's death. NDLA arrests pregnant woman, fake soldier stops Canada, Australia-bound drugs. FG may bar unvaccinated Nigerians from government facilities. Continuation of strike by doctors, contemptuous says Ngige. Customers scam banks with fake visas, tickets for Forex. And North has the vote, won't accept second position in 2023, says NEF. Okay, which story are we taking?
In Kogi State, in Kaba, some gunmen on Sunday attacked Ekwa Church, the Kaba, and they abducted the resident pastor, a female worshipper, and also a retired Pioneer Provost College of Education Technical, Kaba. They also killed one guard. And this is also on the back of, we know some, I think last week, where some inmates escaped from prison. And about 114 of them, some voluntarily went back, and, the others, 114, but we still have a few of them at large. So, it just seems that this may be connected. The police are on it. They're on the trail of these abductors, they say. Also, a vigilante group was able to, I think they killed about 5 bandits in the Kaba area as well. This was just a day after this happened. So this is, Kogi State had always said something about how they are on top of the security matters in that state. And it just seems that all of a sudden, that place is just taking years.
Okay. I wanted to take Dr. Ngige on the NARD doctors' contempt of court order. He yesterday in an interview decried the behavior of the NARD not to obey the order to go back to status quo, which means to go back to work. He says, but he will leave that to the Attorney General to deal with, while he will be continuing to prove to them the items on the MOU that have so far been met by him and the federal government, that they are doing their best, but he's very disappointed. Then the Minister for State for Health continued on why they must go back to work, especially because the president had come in and spoken to them and appealed to them, and that, because they have the oath that, that guards their profession. I'm just so disappointed that, they're the ones pushing for this now. That's why it's very important to always set precedent. If there's trust in the system, these doctors would go back to work. But so far, the federal government have the habit of not obeying court orders, and they've allowed these people see the wrong example that they're following now.
Okay, let's... there's another story there's a human interest story, the NDLA. Who has that story?
No, I didn't take that.
Oh, NDLA.
Yeah, please take that story.
Same old. We have caught many people, different ways that they are carrying drugs. A pregnant woman is highlighted here because she was caught with cannabis, about 4.5 kilograms. If you hear the different ways that they are trying to move we have 475 grams of heroin concealed in food items while going to Canada, 202 grams of cocaine hidden in body cream going to Australia, 720 grams cannabis stocked in computer hard drives going to UAE, 2.1 kilograms of cannabis hidden in body cream going to Oman, 60 grams, just different ways that they are finding together, and NDLEA is on their trail, so well done. But this is scary. It just shows that this thing is mainstream business.
Deep.
Yes.
Into the society.
Okay, so Governor Masari has said that VAT by states, referring specifically to Lagos and River State, taking the matter to court, says is a joke. According to him specifically, he said that VAT serves them and us. We provide the bulk of the market because without the rest of the states, who is Lagos and Rivers? And of course, everybody have come for him saying that he must consider the businesses that takes place, the business that has that happen in Lagos and Rivers that had chaotic traffic and the weight on the social amenities in these states. So these are one of the reasons why they're insisting and asking that these states either get a special status or you keep us enough revenue to be able to run the states. Okay, let's move on now to a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. Moving on now to Daily Sun. 2023 presidency. Northern elders draw battle lines. FG insincere with fight against insecurity, says Lagos Archbishop. Farming key to Nigeria's greatness, says Afe Babalola. Secession not solution to Nigeria's problem by Jabia Miller, Obi Ribadu and others. Kogi, 11 bandits killed, others arrested as security closes in on Kaba kidnap suspects. Unilag crisis, visitation panel report, indicted Babalakin says federal government. Mieti Allah lobbies Southeast governors to stop anti-open grazing laws. Okay, which story
Let me take
taking?
the major headline. So Northern elders, their reactions trailing the statement made by the Northern Elders Forum spokesperson, Hakim Baba Ahmed, where he had said that the region controls majority, that the North controls majority of the votes and should not play second fiddle. And this is just about, the zoning, where it should go to, whether presidency should go to the South or, stay in the North. And the reactions that follow, we have the National Publicity Secretary of Ohaneze Ndibo, saying that as far as it's concerned, there are two groups of Nigerians, those that want Nigeria to stay as one entity and want it to grow and develop, and those that do not care about whether it grows. And so they believe that good will triumph over evil. And for good, as those who believe in equity and fairness. And so he believes that presidency should come to the Southeast. National President for the Middle Belt Forum, Paul Gubitros, is saying that, power shift is determined by political parties and not northern leaders. So these political statements that they're being made are neither here nor there. Afenifere also says that, yes, every part of the country is free to field the candidates of their choice, but in the spirit of equity and fairness, it would be best for this to come to the South. To the South, not specify.
Whether it's east or west.
So, different things, left, right, and center.
Okay, let's take Mieti Allah. Go ahead.
Yes, so the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria have received a nod from the Southeast Governors Forum, led by Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi, to meet and discuss the issues of open grazing and the laws that, some states have already, given a go-ahead on the law. They've passed it into law. So, according to their spokesperson and their leader, he said they'll be meeting with the governors to lobby for the stoppage of the anti-open grazing bill, and that they will be able to table the matters before them, explain to the southern governors the benefits of having the headers in their community to be able to, move around with their cattle. And also, I think Anambra State had not signed that bill into law. According to them, they said there is no need for it. The police is just going to enforce it, and they do not need to have the laws. But some other states, I think situations in Ebonyi, Abia, and Imo states too have not said anything concerning the law. So they've not signed it, they've not mentioned it. So the Miyetti Allah is seeing this as an opportunity that they may listen to them, even those who have signed it into law, and they're able to present. I said that if they ask that the law be in place, that means they are sending those people back, and some of the headers have already relocated to other countries like Chad and Niger Republic. They have left because they don't have a free hand to move around. And it's going to also make the cost of cattle increase. Okay. What we used to sell for 80,000 is now being sold for over 300,000. So they are going to find a way to understand each other, and some of them are beginning to find ways to use the modern facilities, such as ranching in those states. So okay, so I hope they come to an agreement.
Right. So the Lagos Archbishop was saying that the 60th anniversary celebration of the Night of Saint Mulumba, he was saying that the government is supposed to have access to intelligence, to experts who will bring to their expertise to solve the problem of insecurity we're having in the country. He said it's quite unfortunate that the military seem to be complicit, and many of them have inadequate equipment to actually fight against insurgency. He further went that the inconsistency we see even in our political class, and he referenced Fani Kayode's recent movement to APC as part of the inconsistency that we see in the political class as a major problem for Nigerians being to believe in what they're doing. So he strongly says that the federal government is insincere with the fight against insecurity, and until we see some sincerity, we might continue to see many of this insecurity lasting longer than expected. Okay, moving on to the point. Abuja residents groan under siege of insecurity. Why we are not interested in bank jobs, says applicants. Disunity threatens Southern Governors Forum, and 11 bandits killed, others arrested in Kogi. Which story are we taking?
The bank jobs. Okay, very interesting article. I think we should all read it. So for various reasons, they highlighted issues like casualization, harsh internal operating environment, and sharp practices to scare, bright minds within the bank. So number one, recruitment method, age limits. Number two, because the banks are going tech now, they train their staff, and then, when the staff is wiser, other financial technology companies take them out. There's also the bank practices to save costs, and then, pay people less what they are worth by employing people as casual workers, which is very popular amongst banks. And so for this reason, these applicants were picked off Jobberman, and they were all, decrying why they don't want bank jobs anymore. People are now looking towards telecoms and petroleum and gas companies for better pay. Yes, dignifying jobs.
Yeah, so Abuja residents in the point as well are, lamenting about the rise of kidnappings and abductions. And one of the reasons that we're not making so much noise was the fact that they didn't want the papers to carry what was happening. But now it's becoming very unbearable as the banditry and kidnappings that are happening are coming very close to home. And they're saying that right now you have them in Gwari, Duse, Kubwa, Karishi, Orozo, Gwagwalada, and it's also moving to the main towns as well. And so they're saying that they're not seeing the security agencies do as much as they promised to do. And so they're asking for help, that especially the neighboring towns around them, that most people are, moving from place to place just to be able to find safety net. So they're asking the federal government, they're asking security officials to do better in terms of protecting their lives and properties. Okay,
moving on to Vanguard. VAT war, OPS fears double payment, heads to court. Gunmen on rampage in Enugu, Imo, Anambra, Kogi, kill 7 and kidnap 2. First Bank expands IMTO network to boost remittance flow. Armed gang invades Lagos streets, injure many, and they loot shops. PIA Ararume emerges board chairman as Buhari directs incorporation of NNPC Limited. 11 billion naira police equipment contract fraud. How infighting within NPTF management led to ICPC's petition and investigation, and how Ace Vanguard columnist Milafia died.
Okay. So PIA. So in compliance with the Section 53, sub 1 of the Petroleum Industry Act, the President has appointed the board members of the NNPC Limited, be able to put it, Nigeria Petroleum Corporation Limited, Company Limited, And the chairperson is Senator Ifeanyi Ararume, and we have members representing this North Central, North East, North Southeast, and South and Southwest on the board. So it's like a cake-sharing Nigerian formula
equity and fairness.
And cake sharing.
Yes, so I have this story. I remember about 2 weeks ago, we took it in the Vanguard, the 11 billion police equipment contract fraud, where we said that they were investigating some of the equipment that were bought by the Nigerian Police Trust Fund, and they seem to have been substandard.
Yeah.
So ICPC, in continuance with the investigation, had called in the former IGP and chairman of the MPTF at the time, Suleiman Abba, and he gave his own, his own account. He said, first of all, the reasons we're hearing about this thing, why the petition was even raised, was because these people, the group of people had come together to make money off that, that contract. And then they found out that some people were giving 3 million to 5 million. Others were now giving 7 million to 8 million. So they did not agree, like, this money that we're supposed to chop, equity and fairness is this chopping. We did not chop it, so they started calling everyone. And when they called him, they said that this group of people frustrated his, his participation in just running the affairs. He says first they didn't want them to get into the office. Remember, we talked about an office that was provided for them by the presidency, but they were insisting on renting a space instead of getting to that office. Then he said that this contract was carried out without his knowledge, and he is the chairman of that board at the time, and he didn't even know about it. It says clearly there are some people that the presidency did the right thing, the government did the right thing by creating this trust fund, but obviously there are a group of people who just want to take advantage and enrich themselves. Okay,
moving on now to our final paper. Let's find a story we've not taken. Naira depreciates by 209% in 6 years. Uyetola compels COVID-19 vaccination for cabinet members, public servants. Tinkan on a Delta Calabar port collapsing, says NPA. Joheshu suspends proposed nationwide strike, gives federal government 15-day ultimatum on new agreements. And vigilantes killed 11 bandits, rescued 2 abductees in Kogi. Okay, which story are we taking in Tribune?
So the Nigerian Tribune, at this article, they did their findings, and they found out that between 2016 and now, CBN has used $130 billion to what they call save the Naira. So, policies over the years have ensured that when this CBN governor came in, Governor Emefiele, what he did was, first of all, to shop the value of Naira by stopping provision of forex to certain businesses, I think 41 importers of certain products. And because of that, the Naira devalued, and then he had to now do what he called the defending of the Naira. He started in 2015 with 11.7 billion, and then he went to 15.8 billion in 2017, 36.6 billion in 2018, and in 2019 came to 27.8 billion. And this year now, they are planning to use a total amount of about 196 billion to defend the Naira. So it's a lot. I think the Senate Committee on Finance and whatever need to get us the governor to explain to Nigerians whatever policies that you are doing that requires you to defend the Naira that you're supposed to be defending originally every year with the excess crude money that you're supposed to save. How do you redo the same thing over and over again? Somebody, I don't understand economics, so I know nothing, except when I see Naira in front of it. But somebody should explain to us, because this has caused so much hardship in the country. There's so much.
I think we all know some of the reasons why this is happening. But as you said, let us bring in experts, because we've talked about this over the years, and it's the same thing. And it's going to be continued. That vicious cycle will continue until something really drastic happens. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So in the papers today, we read that the federal government is likely to begin to ban unvaccinated persons from from attending public places. Now, this was interesting because we heard stories outside the country where, in America, for example, there were reports that in the beginning, when there was a campaign for people to get their vaccines, they gave incentives. I know Nima had mentioned this a few times. Like, how can you call it incentives? Interestingly, the government at the time offered citizens, American citizens, incentives. They'll give you free bus passes. They'll give you free movie outs. They'll give you free dinner to restaurants or something. Wow. Just go and get vaccinated. They are begging you. They are pleading every corner.
For your own sake.
For your safety, they are begging you. After they did that for a while, I guess now, according to what he was telling me, there's some companies that are saying by October 1st, if you don't have it, you're fired. So they're now taking harder measures. If you don't have it, you can't enter restaurants without it. So, but they started with incentives. So the question, therefore, is that, yes, vaccines are here. Do we take that route, or how do we get Nigerians to begin to consider or to take these vaccines? Do we take the hammer, like the government is doing, saying, if you don't have it, don't enter? Or do we use the NIMA option, which suggests that, do we begin to use incentives to get people to think of vaccines? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read your message. Okay, BC,
with the way people are dying as a result of COVID, aside from dying, the way people are catching it, COVID is real. COVID-19 is real. If it doesn't come close to you, you may think these people are just speaking English. It is real. I have seen people who have died, who were close to me. I've seen people who have caught it, who managed to survive. So it is real. And I wouldn't want to put everything on the federal government in terms of incentives, because I understand the part where you need to encourage people to come out and take it. So we start with giving people enough information. I still don't see as much jingles as I should, as I expected, in local languages, explaining what COVID-19 is and how people can, take the COVID-19, put it on the motor parks, have cartoons. And I expected the federal government or the state governments to do more in terms of sensitization. I'm not seeing that as much.
You've done that in the past.
No, I did not see. I did not see. It's not as what's this advert that goes everywhere? There are some adverts that people just, the songs just catch you and everybody pays attention. That's the sort of sensitization that I expect from the government. But so that we don't put everything on federal government or state government, or what about our representatives? What are they doing in their constituencies? They can start with the incentives. So come out, this is what we have for you. You take this, we give you this, Try, I think it's a collective effort. Let us all, I'm going to ensure now that people all around me will be vaccinated as a way of supporting that we get this message out there. Because the truth is, it is there, it is killing. The last person who I heard that had taken the vaccination and yet still caught COVID-19. So it's not play matter.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has to be both. We have to use different measures, different methods to get people to get vaccinated. I, for one, I'm thinking it's common sense. Help yourself. Do you need someone to further give you incentives to do what is right for yourself and for your life and for your children and for your community? But then if you still do not have that understanding and you do, I think it is important. I really love the idea where you say that the reps should now go to their constituency. We always say about government being grassroots first, and we need to be creative. It's important, that hammer is easy to just raise and bang on everything. That's the easiest and actually also the laziest way to go. We need to have tried many ways. I also do not think that we're having enough of the awareness out there. It has to be on every bus you're talking. The jingles should be so catchy that it will be something that we're all singing unconsciously. You know how it happens? There are particular jingles you have forever in your mind. There was this jingle concerning road traffic one time, a long time ago.
Yeah,
it was so good that for many years till today, I still remember the words to that jingle. We need to do it like that because it's very important. And this is Nigeria. If we now start putting budget aside for incentives, they will now say, well, the money that was supposed to go to this, we'll be hearing 20 billion naira. Please, we can't afford that. Everyone should actually get the vaccine. I have a close relative that I was so afraid we were going to lose. But thank God, it turned around. And it helped because that person got the vaccine. Because if the person didn't get the vaccine, honestly, the story would have been different.
Nima, your initial thoughts on this?
So incentives don't have to be monetary. There could be several other incentives. But I disagree totally on this punitive measure. on this, you know, banning people from using public facilities when we only have about less than 10 million vaccines in the country. So people still have to take double doses. You know that you don't have water. Now say that if they don't sow corn, they will go to hell. I don't get it. It's what you have that you work with. So what you do is encourage people so far to go out for the ones that you have. Because if we now overwhelm the centers, like what happened in First Act, all the primary healthcare centers and general hospitals in First Act, when we overwhelmed it, they could not handle numbers. And they were just registering us online. So you take your phone number, you fill a particular website, and you pick First Act. They couldn't handle the numbers. There was a fight the day I took the vaccine at the hospital. People were shaking gates. We do want to get to that point in every, because when we cause a panic, that's what you get. People will now start to say, I can't go to work, I can't do, and then you start, and then we don't have up to the numbers, and we're already fighting for what what is
so
scarce.
We just get these ideas and we just start without even thinking it through. Because you're saying that
we talk about, these countries that we talk about, they have it in abundance. They are producing. We are waiting for the dash show. They are producing. They have the Waki says that for me to bring a new person, 2-3 family members, I get recognized.
Yes.
So
they will give you money sometimes.
So incentives are many. There are several things you can use to incentivize people to come and take something, but don't punish them.
So where do we put the place? See, this is where we need private, wealthy people to participate because they have the resources. So, for example, a multi-billionaire can pick up this kind of campaign. You know what? Let me give you incentives. You know, find something. I give you free train tickets or whatever it is, or bus tickets or what they call that thing. And these are blue line and red line. I'm buying it for maybe 100,000 people if you get vaccines today. You know, find creative ways. So we don't have to wait on government because just like you said, we can't trust government because they come up with X billions of naira budget. We don't want government to put budget. You and I, with our little resources, we can put money together to encourage. I'll come to BC, but let me take this call quickly. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah. Good morning, Mariah. Others.
Good morning.
I'm the first caller anyway.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. I just want to be very brief. The idea of maybe trying to impose it on people that they must take the COVID. I'm not against that, but there should be a way that will make it better. Why can't they go door to door?
Okay.
Go door to door. There are some countries doing that. I think it's a better idea.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because they are really good with the polio. Remember, they all come home. I see the polio guys. They come to my house. So if you do that, then
you should not have those centers. You should not have those centers squashed like that with so many people. You should have so many centers. So you should not just be a primary health center. It should be maybe different hospitals. It should be some jobs, some offices. You know, so you have
some malls.
Yeah, some malls. You should be able to walk to any different place per day and get it.
So I wanted to say that we can also do it in batches. So instead of just giving that blanket, if you're a federal government worker or if you're not allowed to be in the public space, whoever you are, without your vaccination. We could do it organization by organization. So you take it off the federal government or the state government and ensure that everybody in the organizations, we could go to churches, we could talk to our religious leaders, find a way to get them, that everybody that comes in, they would encourage their people. Once they put spirit into it, everybody
those guys can actually come to mosques and churches and come and set up there.
So we do it in batches. We handle all of that. Door to door is also good.
There are facilities within the control of government that can also work. Imagine I get on the BRT, instead of being on the queue, because I have my vaccine card,
you just go in.
Who go shoot vaccine?
Yes. So it's the creativity that is lacking. People are not thinking it through. They say, go and get your vaccine. But listen, these are human beings. It's taken a long time to also even understand and believe that this didn't exist in the first place. Now that we've understood, we must be encouraged and explained to and sensitized to understand the importance. Find creative ways to get Nigerians to
should learn to know their people and stop reading laws and policies off Oyibo news. We should know our people the way they think and work. When you know a person's problem and you have the solution, you can have a talk with the person. If somebody that is looking for food, you say the person should go and queue a food day, and the person does daily work. I went to the vaccine. They say it never reached me. They say I should register.
Make money
the person cannot even speak English because that day we took phones from some older women
to help them.
And we were helping them do the registration. So, do you know these people at all? Did you put them through? Why does it have to even include registering on the phone when they use a those kind of phone? Touch me and touch you.
Let me go on a quick. We're going to come back. We'll take some calls on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing what kind of incentives do we give Nigerians, or do we come down hard on them, as we started seeing other parts of the West doing. So as I said earlier, like in New York, you can enter a restaurant. I think at the View in the US, they were talking about a tourist getting into a fight with the hostess, saying, listen, where's your vaccination card? You can't enter the restaurant without the vaccination card. And they got into a brawl. So the general the atmosphere is carry around your vaccination card, because you don't get access. You can't go into clubs. You can't go to any public places. So are we getting there in Nigeria, or should we start slowly? BC?
Yeah, I think we'll get there. But like you said, let's start slowly. Let's ensure that the vaccines we have, people are ready to take it. Let's ensure that people are beginning to take it. Then when we exhaust, because the thing is, so we claim we have some vaccines that people are not coming out to take. Now, if we use speed to force them to take, we'll run out of the vaccines before we get more come in. So let's take it gradually. Let's just continue with the sensitization, supporting people to take the vaccines as we are getting more vaccines. Then when we know that at least we've gotten some level of herd immunity and we have vaccines in full, you have no excuse, you can go anywhere and get the vaccination, then we can begin to enforce those strict measures, punitive measures.
We don't have enough right now.
You know, for some people believe that because of their religious beliefs and all that, they are not so, it's like 666, they are not supposed to take the vaccines. At that point, you know that you stay in your house, you'll not be able to do your business because you're not supposed to affect somebody else.
Let me take Mrs. Ahmed, then I'll come to you, Nima. Mrs. Ahmed, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I love you, ladies.
Thank you,
Beautiful
madam.
ladies.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much. I just want to contribute to that discussion. They are not doing anything to make Nigerians take this vaccine. Like me, I'm a 65-year-old woman. I tell my children, go and take, it's very necessary. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to use phone to register or what. You can go to the market and see women with telephone that they use rope to tie. How do they register on what rubbish?
Exactly.
Yeah? We are ready to take the vaccine. Tell them to make it available. Which centers? Look at NIN now, very simple. Very simple. We were queuing under the sun, but now it's well organized. Tell them to organize it. We are ready to take, those who want to take, but we don't know where to go.
Thank you, Mrs. Ahmed.
So for the demonic, those calling it demonic whatever, that's where the punitive measures should come in. Yeah. So if you still have people, you then put your eyes out and watch out for those who are spreading these false analogies about it. I can't
stop people from having their beliefs.
Yeah. No.
If you don't want, it's your beliefs.
They're not verified. Such claims are not verified. And when you spread it out, so you must make people come and prove what they say, and there should be measures. Somebody was speaking that COVID was kiniko in Nigeria here. It was abroad where they have laws. I saw a sanction on him and his business.
For 5G?
You know, for 5G and all of that. So you can't just come out the way we have freedom of speech without qualification here and just be talking. Because what you cause is, this kind of apathy against something, and people are just sitting at home.
I'd like us to leave some suggestions for federal government, because sometimes these people don't have ideas, and I think there was an idea earlier. Let's make some suggestions to help them.
So I have a few suggestions. So we have now a particular organizations, states, saying that if public servants would not be able to access either their offices or places like that, then you would make sure you bring the group of people
public servants
giving the vaccines. They will come to that organization and have everybody that works there have access to them. So if you do not take it, that means you made a choice not to take it. Then after then, you can say, well, we have done all we can to make sure everyone that works here gets the vaccine, but you decided not to. So from now on, you'll be unable to access the office unless you have it. When you do it like that, then it's now on the person to say, okay, yes, I find a different job. It's against my religion or something like that. And then when that happens, but we'll be able to do so much that herd immunity will even cover a few, that few
So,
number of
what
people
you're saying
who,
now is
because
that
of religious...
individual responsibility, because we're all sitting back waiting for government to do something. Let them do something now. But individually, company-wise, religious-wise, organizational-wise, everybody can actually take full responsibility for their people.
Yes.
Don't stop waiting for government all the time. I have a call. Good morning, are you there? Samuel, are you still there? Hello, Samuel.
It's Ambrose, not Samuel. Ambrose.
Ambrose. Oh, do apologize. Thanks for calling. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
You're listening to the TV. Please listen to me.
Hello, Ambrose.
Okay, he's listening to the TV, so let's go. I was
messages
going to talk
here.
about also acquiring this vaccine. So it's one thing to get people to take it, but we don't even have enough. So we need private organizations too to actually help acquire these things.
But we have a lot of
We had
them
MCM
involved. We have,
donate
yes, we have a lot of them partnering to get us vaccines. So I think that they're doing
Were they
their
giving
job.
them to
We
their
also
own
have-
people or to? Because I don't see it to the public.
No, I think, you know, vaccine is it's a medical thing. You cannot just have anybody having access to it or administering them. So it has to go through the proper channel. Remember the last ones that we got, Nigerians, the Nigerian didn't want to give it out first because they had to make sure that the processes were met. You remember we're worried that it did not follow the due process from where we got it from. So it's important that it goes through that, so that also we protect people from getting fake ones. Because I heard in Japan, some people got some spiked vaccines. So it's important that it goes through the proper channel. Yes.
Okay, I'll come to BC in a second. Good morning, are you there? Okay, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we don't want Nigerian government to start budgeting X billion of naira for this issue of COVID-19. So we are sharing ideas, and we're opening our phone lines to people. So please call in. Let us give them ideas on how we can get Nigerians to get vaccines as soon as possible. Let me take this call from Mr. Adesonya. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Mariah, good morning.
Morning.
Hi, Nima.
She's right here. Good.
You see, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. In fact, my problem is the federal government. Fine, we don't want to force Nigerians from entering government facilities. It's a good one. But what about the palliative? When they were sharing the palliative, did they force people to collect palliative? Now they want to force Nigerians to take the vaccine. It should be optional. You cannot force Nigerians to do it. Even in the developed world, they are even paying people to collect vaccines, not to force people. You cannot coerce people to collect it. That's just my opinion.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, as I said, we're sharing ideas. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have messages here. Ojewe Josephine says, incentive care. Something for your own good, your life. I feel more sensitization should be done on COVID-19. With an incentive, it means there's more to taking it. Chukwe Buka says, talking about COVID-19, the government should engage the religious leaders because they are the right means to get people vaccinated because they believe it's related to the devil. The religious leaders should step up. Namak says, I'm not in support because people who have received this vaccine can also contact it. Then what is the essence of taking it? Bumi says, our leaders should stop all these knee-jerk reactions to this COVID-19 issue. What is the quantity and quality of vaccines available? Let us look inward and find alternative situations or solutions. Okay, so it's a lot, but what I wanted to just land with is, so I know that the federal government is doing a lot to get vaccines in. And also, I think a few weeks ago, they talked about clinical trials with some medications like artesunate that they wanted to work on. And I think some universities in Nigeria are already working on that. So we are seeing the measures in place. But I would just appeal that we individuals do what we can do while the government focuses on getting in more vaccinations for us. So as we're getting people to take the one so that we don't run out, the government should face getting vaccinations in, the representatives, the local leaders, the local churches, the corporations or different organizations to focus on giving the incentives for their people to take the vaccines. Let's just share it.
Good morning, are you there? From Dublin, go ahead, you're live.
First time caller, please.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Sorry, I just want to contribute to the COVID discussion you are trying to explain to people.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's no enough information from the government.
Hello?
And then I think in the olden days, I think we have all these centers that if you are living like in Lagos, okay, and then we have some centers, local government, that people can go there and go there and vaccine themselves there. So there's no enough information about that to the people that are living.
Mr. Bolaji, since you live in Ireland, could you tell us how it's done over there? Maybe we can learn a few things from you.
You say what? Can you come again?
Since you live in Ireland, could you tell us how it's done there so we can take a few ideas from you?
Yeah. I think the idea here is that now, they first start from the old people, like from 60 to 70, 80, like that.
Okay.
And then from there, they come down to from the age of 40 to 50.
Okay.
And then from 30 to 40. And then they are coming down like that. But in Nigeria, there's nothing like that, that you can still feel from age, so age to so age.
All right, that's a good idea. Thank you, Mr. Bolaji. That's a good idea because the same way we have the polio guys going around, if we have a batch, say, okay, we're only doing senior citizens. You go around town, we start with senior citizens. Not going to start with seniors in your houses. Then second batch from age this to that. Maybe, I know
that's how they started because when the very first batch came in, it was for senior citizens. So when you get there, even if you got there early and someone, a senior gets there, you would have to wait for all the seniors to get it first. And then we also had for first responders, medical personnel. So we actually did it for the first batch, but I don't know what's happening now since then.
And a lot of seniors probably also didn't get there at that time. So maybe a good time to start over again.
So what caused the confusion at my own center was some people had come in as early as 4 a.m., put their numbers down. They already were scheduled for that day. And then they came, seniors were now coming in. And, the people who thought they would go in waited till 9 a.m. They had not called them. They were prioritizing seniors. Yes. So the method that he talked about, door-to-door, for seniors. So you have the data that they use for palliative SMSs based on, in Lagos State, they use the Lagos State number, what's it called, the LASRA. Okay. So you can use that to prioritize people's ages, check on go to their doors, and you can also do the market campaigin. Our market is one of the major crowded. Let's have 20 of your officials go with their coolants and whatever and start to vaccinate people. If the objective is to reach them, then go and meet them.
Yeah. Exactly. So let me take this call from Hassan, then we'll go on a quick break. Hassan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Morning. Please, you see this issue of vaccine. People should stop this hanky-panky. Because this is something that consumes the second most powerful person in this country. That's why it's enough for us to agree that COVID is real. It consumes apothecary. And what evidence do you need? It consumed the former governor of Oyo State. A lot of people like that. And we are still arguing. Somebody is still talking about incentives. Incentives for what? For taking care of yourself. What we need here is for government to be proactive. Proactive in the sense that make sure you have availability of vaccines. Make sure your people are there to help people to get vaccinated. But this issue of trying to go around and be saying that government should do this and do that for the people, for you to take care of yourself. If you are suffering from malaria,
Right.
you need to send.
Thank you, Hassan. Unless my memory fails me, but according to the political science books, number 2 person is the vice president now.
Fear catch me.
I mean, I was like, please get your...
I just remember this particular, I think last week, we know Nicki Minaj, the very big American star, had posted, had retweeted something. She said her cousin said that he's not taking the vaccine because a guy that he knows took the vaccine and it affected his testicles. And she posted it. This is someone that's a big star, has a huge followership. It drew the attention of the president of the United States and called her for a meeting to further enlighten her. And then the president of her country, where she's from, one of the Caribbean countries, came out and made a statement and saying this is not true and they would like to investigate that person that said her. So that's it. That's what we mean. You have to be responsive, yes. So it's not only about punishing. So Nigerian government may have punished Nicki Minaj instead of calling her to sit with her and talk to her.
And then use her platform of influence.
Because if she's enlightened, her platform
We need to wrap up on this because I know that this is something that we're going to continue to talk about. But Bisi, I'd like you to like the final words on this. How do we, I mean, we've shared different ideas and suggestions to the government, but also the responsibility of the takers, we the people. What can we do to ensure that we are responsible? Because some of us fake these vaccines because of profitability.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems. The fake vaccines proliferate the entire system. So how do we also take responsibility in this whole thing?
First of all, that we should value lives. We should value our lives. Personally, we cannot give what you do not have. Value your life and value the life of others. So for all those people who are faking certificates, one of the reasons we can't even travel to Dubai right now is because we were faking certificates. You should understand that you are playing with the lives of people. And some countries may not be able to stand, they can't stand it even if we allow it here. And so we need to advise ourselves. We need to allow our good conscience work for us. You need to protect your life, the lives of people around you. So even if you have beliefs that will not allow you to take that vaccine, are you ready to stay indoors and allow other people go out? Because not everybody has the same values that you have. And aside from all this spirituality, let us be logical, let us be practical. We've had pastors who have died, we have had imams who have died in your neighborhood. Ask them questions why people are dying from different things. So let's love ourselves. And when we love ourselves, let's extend it to other people.
Thank you very much, Bisi. I think we can wrap up on that. Let's go on a break now. We come back, we'll bring in our guests. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have Dr. Akanimo Odon on the show today. He'll be discussing a variety of national issues like youth unemployment, career development, the new wave of young people going overseas, and most importantly for him, the role of universities and government in nation building. Welcome with us, Professor Akanimo.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Yeah, same here. It's really good.
So before the show, we're talking about vaccines and all that, people taking responsibility, and I'd like to link that up to government helping young people take responsibility for this unemployment. There's a lot of unemployment in the land. It's like there's confusion on how to engage these young people. How best do we use these able-bodied youth that is the largest part of our population in Nigeria? What's the best use of them?
Interestingly, I think many people make a mistake think that government can't do everything. Everyone knows that. Internationally, that's the case. But in some cases, people actually think government needs to do incredible things for things to happen. Sometimes it's just a fundamental idea around strategy and placement and alignment. So I'll give you a very simple example. So you talk about employability of young people. You can almost talk, I mean, you can't actually talk about unemployability, you talk about unemployment. So you can have job opportunities, and a young person can't actually apply for it because you're not qualified to in the first place. So there's a fundamental issue around unemployability. There's a capacity for you not to be able to apply in the first place. Also a separate issue around unemployment. So let me give you a very simple example to maybe to kind of get you around this. So universities, all they do, every student, whether you're a first degree student, doing an undergraduate program, a master's or PhD, there's something you all have to submit. That's a research proposal or a research dissertation. In international communities, developed economies, because it's a mandatory requirement for graduation, whether you are undergraduate or postgraduate, what they've done cleverly is tie that aspect of your graduation to employment. What do I mean? Now, around every universities, so I think I was in Unilag just last week to go and deliver a talk, okay, at their colloquium. And I just decided to just make a count. Within, I think, I don't know, 5 minutes drive as we were approaching Unilag, I was just counting as we were driving in, just because I felt like, and I counted about 250 SMEs before I got to Unilag. If you do the 1 kilometer radius projection, there is a minimum of 1,000 SMEs within and around Unilag. There's a lot of SMEs. Now the question is this, I think the point is this. Big companies don't have so much problem. They have too much money. In fact, they even have R&D department. The guys who have problems are the SMEs. Because to write for someone to do a small research is thinking about how much money do I have extra. They have limited resources. So how about you did a simple mapping? So instead of a young student doing just an over-the-head, if you like, dissertation, which most of them do, I did the same thing. Tie a dissertation to respond to a question or a challenge by an SME down the road. Do you know how many SMEs have problems? I'll give an example. You know, if you did a small mapping and said, okay, how many SMEs want someone to manage the social media handles? It looks easy to you, but for some SMEs, that's a big struggle. But there are crazy students who they become experts in managing social media accounts. Well, let that student map it such that it's responding to that SME need, at the same time developing its capacity to meet a demand. In Lancaster, where I base, the way it's designed is you have these resident companies. And every year, the university will do an email to SME say, okay, send us all the problems you have. We're writing to a proposal. So if it's, okay, I want to know my competitive advantage. I want to know how much energy I can save. All these are simple questions, but that's a question that can be a fundamental premise for a student to respond to in a dissertation. Instead of just plucking one research topic out of space, and you ask you, so what did you do with the topic? It's gathering dust on the shelf.
So let's build on that a bit. So a research question from an SME, let's just say you sell clothes.
Absolutely.
And your issue is that how do I scale? How do I increase from where I am to the next level?
Fantastic.
And we give that question to a student
in business
and do that research. So he or she has done the research. What next?
So the person has done the research, but obviously the person is submitted some kind of a response to a question the SME has asked for. By submitting that response, or in form of a proposal or a write-up or dissertation, they pass their qualification. You know how many SMEs will see that kind of a result? First and foremost, what you've done is you've built some incredible confidence in the student. Why is that important, though? Because if you meet many employers, the biggest issue they have is that students don't have work experience. So now I can say, well, I'm a student consultant. Why do you say so? Well, I just finished a research project, call it one nice big name, and I was able to respond to the problem that SME had. I was able to address it, and I fixed the problem. So fundamentally, it's a confidence build by being able to respond to a need. But secondly, right away, the student knows, well, wait a minute, if that SME had a problem, I wonder how many more SMEs have the same problem. So now you put a framework for a potential enterprise development on the back of a simple premise that is designed around their actual mandatory work of something in research. That's the second level. But even more interesting, the SME should now go, wait a minute, if that student could do that, and maybe he wasn't even paid, because it was a simple research, he would do on his mobile phone. I wonder what else that student can do. That SME now, so if you look at it, it's like a boiling pot of different scenarios that impacts together. Look at Unilag has got over 45,000 students. That means every year, Morayo, 10,000 students are submitting one research. Kilo day,
they will have a job.
So it now helps me understand that, you know, the success of the tech startups, because they seem to be responding to issues and problems within. So people are confusing tech for, oh, that's the new thing, but instead, it's more about the problems that they are solving.
Absolutely.
So that's why they are successful.
As a matter of fact, you know, it's a really good point. It's important for everyone to know. Every career on earth, whether you are a tailor, designer, every career is framed fundamentally on your capacity to solve a problem. The reason why that executive is paying you for that job is because you are filling a gap. And which is the reason why careers that are not sustainable are careers that don't innovate on finding more problems to solve. So that's the fundamental premise of all careers. It's because you are solving a problem or taking advantage of an opportunity. It means, therefore, that when young people see themselves as not just I'm a student, but you are a potential solution to a problem. Look at Paystack is a mega company in Nigeria. But what has Paystack done? It's just fundamentally solve a problem of money transfer. It's a list of why is a lecturer in a university? It's a simple premise. It's solving the problem of ignorance. It's because some people don't have knowledge, and that's the reason why your job becomes important. So you're very correct. It's not because it's just the tech companies. That premise remains the same in every other sector. Do you know how many pharmacy shops you walk past within the university? Imagine if you just saw the pharmacy student, just to go and check out what is the place of work environment within pharmacy. Right now, it's only done theory in classroom, but you are exposing them to the fundamental work spaces and how these things actually happen. So it's about solving problems.
Yeah, so I feel that our educational system, it's mostly abstract.
Yep.
So we like the big English, we like to have the certificate, I am a this, I am a that, and then when you are put in a position where you can solve a problem, you're not able to think on your feet.
Apply.
And you cannot even apply the knowledge that you have.
True.
And I feel it's a failure on the part of our so-called lecturers and school authorities. How can we get them to understand that the international standard and the Igbo countries are going as far as they are going because they understand the value of solving a problem? How do we get them to even change their mindset in the first place?
And actually, it's so bad, it's so ingrained, and it's actually very frustrating. And I mean, it's an institutional issue. For it to happen, there needs to be a basis of benefit on why lecturers should innovate enough to be able to see themselves as problem solvers. Everyone knows about the term publish or perish. But that is because, forgive me, so the basis of promotion of most lecturers across Africa is based on your capacity to publish a paper, okay? Because the premise is around publishing a paper to get promoted. So that's the reason why there's been different levels whether, I mean, some do incredible job, but because that loophole is the fact that people now navigate and look for data by hook or by crook, because once the paper is published, you're promoted. Imagine there was a retraction and there was a realignment where you're saying, okay, well, you're promoted based on how many companies you engage, or you're promoted based on how many problems you solve, or you're promoted based on how much impact you make. What do you think is going to happen? Everything will just change. So that means fundamentally the premise of driving this should be driven by policy. Okay? That's the first level. Second level, and this is even more important, is the fact that you can't expect a lecturer who is not entrepreneurial to teach entrepreneurship. Okay? So that means there's a problem of lack of capacity to do the place in the first place. Have you ever asked yourself, the lecturer who is teaching lecturing, did he want to lecture in the first place? No. He already has so much work to do. He has to write the report. He has to mark script. He has to lecture. He has to apply for grant if he sees one. He has to report to this person. And my goodness, the number of committees and subcommittees that they join. So on top of that, you're now wanting to be solving extra problem. I have enough on my table. That means there needs to be some kind of a reprioritization in a sense that's driven through policy, strategic alignment, but also a structural formation that makes it easy for lecturers to actually innovate. But I think for me, it's a question of the fact that if you tie benefits and reward to what you want, then things change very quickly because there's no reward system to back up that's creating those impacts in those spaces.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for opening up the roads in the universities. Lecturers who would make a student do research and they see the quality of research, still it's change the topic
and publish.
Halfway into the project, publish it because of promotion, and then ruin the student and ensure that he leaves school frustrated. But thank you. I always wonder the role of universities in developing countries. The example of the SMEs that you picked is just one angle. Sure. I'd like you to expand on. Nigeria is an oil-producing country. We're trying to get, diversify economy and a lot of other things. We just continue to open more universities. Now they're talking about opening a university for petroleum alone. The other time they're talking about another university for aeronautic. And we have the one in Kaduna. As if we don't
know what we're doing.
Is it that is the solution universities, more universities, or let's just close it down until we're serious about students coming out with the problem-solving abilities from where we call our higher institutions? There's something I noticed when we're studying law. Every lawyer as a lecturer could practice. is because there are new laws coming out, and you cannot stay in the university and know them without practicing.
Yeah.
And every other lawyer outside does not have to combine practice with any other thing, but as a lecturer, you have to. Can we do that to every field? So that there's this competition of no first class in my school, no on my course, and all those nonsense will stop.
Yeah.
So it's a distortion. It's a really good point you raised. So I remember some years ago when the federal government set up, like, I think it was 8 or 9 new universities. I was excited. And the reason was because, obviously, the higher education demand hasn't been met by supply for a long time. As a matter of fact, I think every year, over 1.9 million Nigerians apply for through JAMB to get into university. But the current carrying capacity of Nigerian higher institutions is about 800,000. That means every year there's 1 million people or more looking for where to study. So there's obviously a problem around the disconnect between education supply and education demand. But on top of that, the fact that so creating more universities might cater for that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, though, is the fact that there's a mismatch between the demand in economy and the supply in universities. So what do I mean? So you see, for example, I studied zoology back in the day, okay? And I remember I walked into the class, and I wrote this as a blog on my LinkedIn account. People were laughing, but it was true. So I wanted to study medicine, but I got into zoology, the study of animals. I'm thinking, this animal kingdom. So I remember walking to the class, and then I was thinking, so there are about 50 people in my class. And I'm thinking, so how many zoos are there in Nigeria? This is my myopic view on naivety. And they say there are only 1 or 2 zoos. And in fact, one of them, the lion is dying. So I know I have no hope. So that means I'm in competition with these students in my class for these few zoos after we graduate. So there's a question of naivety. And that's zoology. Okay? But guess what? They've not innovated that course. It's now called environmental biology. It's a change of nomenclature. But what's the mismatch? The mismatch is the fact that now you have other courses like agriculture. The government has just moved to divert our economy spend into agriculture. You know that every university in Nigeria, especially as long as you're more than 2 or 3 years old, have a faculty of agriculture. But less than 10% of agricultural graduates actually do anything agricultural. So that's the mismatch. So while you're having surplus in some cases, you are having absolute deficit in other locations. That means there has to be a structural understanding of where are the gaps and how do we map the gaps. So I'll give an example. Nigeria is a top movie-producing country. Nollywood is a big deal, okay? But do you know how many universities in Nigeria actually offer a top-notch master's in film production? I mean, you are in the media space. There are less than 5.
Yes.
But there are over 170 universities in Nigeria. So how can we be the biggest supplier of movies or product movies in Africa? And yet there are only 5 universities that can fit the technical dimension of those spaces. So I can go on and on. It is the mismatching that is the problem.
You know, I always share this story. I mean, that when we built the, because many of us in the entertainment industry, we just kind of learned on the job.
Yeah.
You know, nobody really taught you how to do this production sets. I mean, when we built Wake Up Nigeria set, and I was so excited because we designed it, we got the people to the carpenters, and it was such a beautiful set. I was so proud of what I had done. Like, you know what, this is fantastic, my team, you know. And I told the MD, and he was on the phone, he was arriving the next day, he said, Mariah, good job, when I get to Nigeria, I'll see it. So the next day he came to the set, and I was so proud for him to see it. He said, Mariah, what rubbish is this? This is horrible. You can't have white walls. What's wrong with you? I'm thinking, oh, God. See how fine
I'll try my best.
Yeah. No, it's for TV. You can't have white walls. That's basic technical information that we don't know. We just knew that. Just do the beauty. Let's be beautiful. So you were like, no, take this yellow, this color, orange, you know, instead of changing the colors, and then it popped. Because on TV, the colors would pop. You can't have white walls. So that little information that we didn't know that. We just build a set. So you have schools but are not teaching us how to be graphic artists. Absolutely. Not teaching how to be good producers, good script writers, good set designers, good self-build. These are things, these are various jobs that you can actually create. There are gaps within the entertainment industry.
And there are people plugging those gaps. Now we'll have like film schools, small schools trying to
cover the gap.
Plug those gaps. And that's why people are asking now, and I think that's why it's a conversation in Nigeria, is university education that important?
Anymore.
Since it's not meeting my needs, I can go to all these little institutes that are meeting my needs. Maybe it's better.
But the trouble now is the fact that you use the word many. Universities by structure are massive. They have bigger impact if they've got the right guidance, structural alignment for this to happen. But I think Maria raised a really good point, which I want to emphasize quickly. So is that thing around the conflict between higher education and vocation. Okay? So now you might find the fact that universities don't actually offer courses like script writing and so on in that case. But I did a small experiment because I'm a researcher by heart. So I started investigating across different Nigerian universities, even African universities, Kenya, Nairobi, in Tanzania, and so on. And each time I come into a room of students, final year students, 30-year students, I ask them, okay, so how many of you have something else you love doing, which is not your course of study? It's always 95% and above have their hands up. So I take myself as an example. In my year 1 at University of Benin, I knew I loved writing because words come easy to me. You could combine words together and it was a flow. People ask me, how did you just put that together? I said, I don't know, but it just comes naturally. Okay? But let me give you an example. Can you imagine I knew I loved writing, but I was studying zoology, study of animals. But can you believe for 4 years at University of Benin, I never visited the English department, not once. How does that make sense? So that means it's almost like there should be a policy, really, that every student, when you're doing a course of study, state specifically what else interests you that you love doing. And this is the beautiful thing about it. A second research I did now showed that I started interviewing SME professionals, so young professionals who have their own SMEs. And so in a room of like 200 SME owners, so young guys, I said, how many of you set up your SME based on what you studied at university? Less than 5% of them set up their SMEs. But when I asked them, how many set up your SMEs based on an interest or passion you love? Over 90% of them said that was the case. But then I asked them the actual killer question. I said, but how many of you have gone further to develop knowledge or some extra courses in that thing you set up your SME on? The numbers dropped down to 5%. What does that show you? It shows you that there's a huge resource of inherent talents, innate skills that is gone through university environment. That's actually the bedrock of societal development, but it hasn't been enhanced. But look at the beautiful thing. There is no single university in the world that precludes a student from sitting down in another class that's not your class of study, your course of study. So if I'd known then, I should have been sneaking in to go and take English classes while I was in University of Benin. Absolutely true.
Combining with the animals.
Yes, and maybe I can speak better with the animals. You never can tell.
I want us to touch on the issue of those traveling abroad because we are losing young people. They don't even aspire to be anything in Nigeria anymore. They just want to go abroad. So we are doing everything to see, okay, does the university in America allow this course? Can I transfer? Can I do this? They have no plans in Nigeria. We are losing these huge numbers. And even then they go, some of them don't even bother coming back. So what can we do to stop this trend and reverse this trend?
I was speaking to a young man, and he said, Doc, guess what? I said, what happened? He said, I've sold my house. This is a Nigerian guy. I've sold my house. I've sold my land. I'm coming to the UK for my master's. I said, so which area is the master's? He said, it doesn't matter.
It's in the UK. That's what
That's how I'm living here. So now we have a problem, okay? There's a huge deluge of people kind of moving to Canada, moving to the UK. Obviously for better economic status, which is understandable. But having said that, though, I think that's where I think the government should step in. Because I think I don't mean step in terms of, you can't restrict them from going because if things were better, they would move. But also a note of caution for young people traveling overseas. I've lived in England for over 19 years. And trust me, it's not any better there except you know what you're doing. There are people who won't tell you, but I can assure you they're struggling even in the UK they're talking about. It's about understanding your purpose, your perspective. It's about planning what you want to achieve. You can't go and spend 15 grand in pounds, and then after you finish, start looking for work. Then now you are at the fix. You can't come back to Nigeria because they're thinking you are enjoying yourself in the UK. Now you've got yourself in the fix and the bubble. So the trouble is, it's what the economy actually portrays, and people are leaving. You can't blame them that they're leaving.
Let's talk about the long-term advantage or disadvantage of this leaving. So an average black man or Nigerian leaves with the knowledge that they have. They solve their immediate problem.
True.
They leave the societal problem. So the next person follows the line. Leave is solving one person's problem. The knowledge that we need to change this country is outside.
It's actually true.
So where is that part of patriotism? At what point, where is that breaking point that everybody will wake up and realize that let's kukuma sit down and have this conversation on what we need to do and what we need to force to be done and the talks that we need to do. Pastor Kwadwo Emade, I'm not a Christian, but I've loved him since university days for having the talk. for organizing the platform.
The platform.
So you force that conversation to start. That's where he stops. But everybody, can you people do something instead of me? If I take my family today and leave, we leave with that.
You know, but interesting. I guess the question is, so if you can't stop them from leaving, can you encourage them to come back? It's one or the other. It doesn't have to be coming up physically. See, interestingly, I live in England, but actually over 95% of my work is actually in Africa. People wonder, how do you do it? But that's actually my decision to do that. And the reason is because I've understood clearly that careers are built on your capacity to solve problems. In the UK, there are very few problems in that sense. You sit down in a round table like this, and you have people are having the conversations, and a prof will say, so let's write a new proposal to solve a problem. Okay, how about this problem? And somebody will say, no, don't worry. They solved it last week. And it's okay, but let's revise it and solve the other problem. Somebody will say, no, there's a PhD student working on a solution as we speak. In Africa, you know, when you wake up in the morning, problem greets you at the door.
I'm telling you.
That's the reason why I'm coming here, because this is where things can happen, fundamentally.
That brings...
So it's about tapping into that diaspora network. I'm currently working on a few projects, even with the African Union, around how do you tap into the African diaspora, able to harness the capacity and the skills just for nation building. And but the point is, only one person can do that. It requires some government support, some backing, some institutional strategy. I mean, I cannot do a little. For example, I was telling BC, I've just set up a brand new mobile app. I'm just one man. But the mobile app is like one of the most comprehensive career and education mobile app you see on the continent. And it's free. It's FlexiLearn. That's basically the app. But how many people can I touch in my own little way? So these things have to happen in bigger versions for there to be the impact you won't actually requires.
That brings me to my point, which is we want to go out there because the ground, grass is greener on the other side. But most of them are coming here. Most of the healthcare facilities we have right now are being run by Indians, Chinese. A lot of them are coming here. Now, how do we get our people to understand that we can make it here?
Oh, that's actually, so, you know, when I see my fellow brother, I say, well, why are you going to UK? So that's where there's money. And I see the UK president. Why you come to Nigeria? I say there's money. So that means there's something that the British president is saying that Nigeria has not seen. Guess what? I've seen it too. Why do you think I'm here? And I can assure you, and it's a fact. Understand there are societal challenges and conflicts, but the point is, if you are dogged and persevere and understand your capacity to solve those specific solutions or those problems, the opportunities are massive. The continent with the biggest portfolio of problems is the continent with the biggest portfolio of opportunities. Because problems are raw materials for innovation.
Let me help you with
this. Let me go, please.
Okay.
So, you know, right now we have a situation, and we've understood it. Our schools, our lecturers, don't get it. They're not pushing us in the right direction. Probably because they don't also understand it. But here we are. And not all of us can travel abroad. For those of us that are here, given the situation that we have, what can we do individually, as families, as communities, to start building and creating a pathway for generations to come, and also that will reflect in our government, in our economy? What do we need to start doing?
I think your point you just raised is actually absolutely crucial. And I think I've come to the point in my career where I just know, because we've been waiting for government and many people to do things for a long time. I am tired of waiting. So my message now, I'm now the individual impact evangelist. That's my new message now.
That's your own.
Because automatically, if there's little contributions from individuals, you make a really good point. Because everybody can add a little value, no matter how small. And the question is, if you flip it over from value for me to value for others, that is the bedrock of the change that we need. I mean, you get impact yourself, but guess what? Actual career growth is built on your capacity to give value for others. That's actually where you grow in career. God find out anywhere at any point in time. Anybody who actually just thinks about themselves will never grow. It's impossible. The big companies, the reason is because there are many more people that are getting value from what they do. It's called the law of replication, the law of distribution. That's basically what it is. The capacity for you to actually replicate yourself and give values continuously.
I have a question on that replication. Let me talk to me. Because, see, my worry is where we are, it is what it is right now. So we have a lot of you in the diaspora. And I would like to really see, how do we tap into those abroad?
Yeah.
Where they're not thinking about me, myself, and I. My family, I'm a doctor, my children, we're okay. We're okay. How can we use their exposure, their knowledge, their resources?
Yes.
How do we harness that for us? How can they, what opportunities can they bring? Because it's just that if it's just about them, we're not going to solve a problem.
Absolutely.
But they come collectively together and say, you know what, this is our plan for Nigeria.
You know, but they're actually frameworks, you know. And I tell people this. And for me, it's about, if you understand the fact that in the world we now live, to grow enhance your career or enhance your spaces, is by partnerships. If you think you're going to go on your own, that's old school. But the point is, how many people actually really understand the value of partnerships or developing partnerships in the first place? Someone will tell me, well, how do you do partnerships? And I ask a very simple question. Partnerships begin with your understanding of your global self and space. So a very simple way to ask questions is this. If I ask you lovely ladies and say, so which would you prefer? If I say A, to kind of call yourself, would you prefer to say, I am a Nigerian professional? Okay, and I'm interested in the Africa or international market. Or B, would you prefer, I called you, I'm an international professional. I just happen to be living in Nigeria. Which would you prefer? Think about it for a minute.
International.
I'd rather become a Nigerian anytime.
International is the same thing.
I think one, but two sounds better.
But why did I ask the question, though? It's because, believe it or not, I mean, Morayo can be called by CNN, and she will do an incredible job. So even though she's actually working in Nigeria, she's already inherently an international professional.
Yes.
So people actually lose the understanding of their global self because they are in a local space. That's where the problem comes. So partnerships. Look at LinkedIn, for example.
It's about the impact you make wherever you are first. So earlier when you were talking, you reminded me of a conversation I had with the former governor of Lagos about what people focus on in businesses. So I was once arguing, and he says I argue a lot with him, about businesses packing up. You have to buy your fuel, your diesel, your everything, and you earn in Naira. The money is devalued. I say, Madam, keep quiet. The foreign companies that are here also buy diesel. They also use the bad roads.
That's true.
They also earn in Naira.
That's true.
And some still pay taxes wherever they do, wherever their origin is from. So think about it, because you're focusing on the problem, which is what all Nigerians do. So is it really about...
that simple?
Is it that simple, and is it about what we focus on? Or, you know, whether the entire good? Because BC mentioned the particular area of business.
That's
now.
true.
And these companies, even I had an argument a month ago that this is where I would rather go for my tests with another Nigerian business.
Yes.
That, you know, because I think they do things better than you, and it's even cheaper.
But happens that, I think I've got a point. You're very, very correct. But I guess the problem, what I'm referring to is this. There are many SMEs who begin at doing incredible work. But it gets to the point where their geographical space now limits them. Good. That's what I'm trying to make.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that you are a global professional, a global SME, just because you haven't understood your space. So I'll give a simple example. Okay, is somebody looking for what you're doing in Kenya? Do you know how many times I have flown to an African country? So, for example, I'm in Ivory Coast, and a vice chancellor will tell me, hey, Doc, can you find me a Nigerian lecturer or that is English speaking that can partner with us, follow me, to teach English version of our French programs? So you are an English teacher here, and you're saying, hey, I've suffered, though. But there's a
demand for you.
Demand for you in Francophone West Africa. Interestingly, in West Africa, there are 15 countries, and 9 of them are French-speaking. Yes. And they are looking for you with torchlight. And you are here, you're complaining because you haven't understood your global space. I'll give you an example. You know, I'm the first I've flown to Tanzania, okay? And then I'll meet a government official, and they'll tell me, well, can you structure a deal for us to come and learn about oil and gas? Why is that important? Tanzania just hit a huge oil and gas reserve. Okay? But Nigeria have been doing this for over 40 years.
They need us, our expertise.
So if you call any profession, any career space, I can tell you which 34 countries you should be aligning your target.
So as a lawyer in Nigeria,
absolutely,
they're looking for me anywhere.
There are spaces. So if you're an IT person, if you're not speaking to somebody in Rwanda, there's something wrong with you.
Wow.
Because the Rwandan government is investing dangerous money to make themselves the Silicon Valley of the continent. You speak about mining. I mean, I can go on and on. It's about understanding
lack of information as well.
Because you just put yourself, I am a Nigerian. But Africa is 55 countries and over 1 billion people. I removed this box.
I'm launching a book at the end of the year.
Okay.
And it's an environmental book for children. It talks about vultures. And vultures, the problems we have is the decline in vultures across Africa.
Okay.
But I've been thinking of that book only for Nigeria. Meanwhile, the African
local mindset.
That's where the premise is. So by restricting your geographical space, you've restricted your marketplace.
Yes.
I am
thinking global.
Yes. So the impact can be local. But I'm saying that you don't restrict the impact, because we now live in a globally connected world. I live in England, but my goodness, I tour over 30 African countries. Because those spaces are where I delve into. The same thing with most African individuals. You're just in your own space. That lecturer who is just complaining, I don't have research grants. I asked him, well, how many partners do you have in other African countries? He said, well, I don't have any. He said, but why wouldn't you? Tomorrow, when the Kenyan government announces a new grant, and they tell Kenyans researchers that to apply for the grant, they need partners. If a Kenyan researcher had you on their WhatsApp number, you're Nigerian, what's the first thing you would do? So every day,
expand your... let me let Nima throw a question. I have a very last...
This is clarity. So the local impact, I said. So most Nigerians are graduating without making an impact, creating a field, like you mentioned with Morayo. They're just looking to go.
That's the problem.
Because so that's where I'm going. Everybody is looking at earning power. So Naira is low. Let me go and earn in dollar. And you take any rubbish latrine job anywhere you go. Create local impact.
True.
First, create global. And you say it's globally.
That makes absolute sense.
May I add that I want to ask you, how do you prepare yourself for the international space? For instance, one of the reasons we have people going to foreign businesses is because they receive excellence, especially in customer service. So they treat you better, they know how to and all that. How do you
answer that question in 10 seconds?
In 10 seconds.
I can. So to prepare yourself,
using my book as a case
to prepare yourself for international space, I think the first thing is the fact that your segmentation has to be clear. You have to outline your actual spaces of contribution, what is requirement for you. You need to be positioned in the global space. If I Googled you and Google is having epilepsy to find you, then we have a problem. Because that is the virtual era we now live. Fundamentally, know that you are a provider of solutions in the global space, even if you're local.
Oh, we have to run. Thank you so much, Dr. Kanami. I think we learned. Oh, you gotta go global, honey. There's lots of space for you. I mean, I think we can use you as an example because you have a book, you're interested in environments and children, and you have a space. So don't think local.
Someone says, Bukola says, I'm researching this doctor. He's too good.
Yes, fantastic. That's all we can take on the show.
We'll have a lot of discussion.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's a pleasure.
Think global. Not local.